Alright guys, we're going to quickly go over how to model this classroom. Right away I'm going to make a rectangle with the dimensions of the classroom, which is 552.79 inches. If I hit enter and then click, and then the next dimension is 575.22 inches. Cool. So there's my basic outline of the perimeter of the classroom. If I then offset this by typing offset, and then I'm going to offset by 2 feet, that's the thickness of the walls. So now we just have this border that's 2 inches thick. That's going to basically be our walls. Next, if I go in top view, we're going to make our door here. Following some of these dimensions. So right here, we're gonna go over 30.91. You can go anywhere on this wall, and then we're gonna move it. So 30.91 inches. Enter, and then we're gonna go down. What's it say? It says right here 33.43. 33.43. 33.43. Cool. If I select all of that and then type in move, we're going to bring this down to this intersection, and then I could have kept moving it, but we're going to type move one more time because we want this to be on the outside. And so I want just this line right here. I think for Rhino 6 you would already have it separated, but for mine I'm going to explode it so I can just focus on just that line. I can delete my other line here. I just want this one right here. All that stuff we did was just to position it. So this is going to be our door that's swinging out. We're going to offset this by 1 inch because that's the thickness of our door. I could have done offset with caps, but I didn't, so I'm going to just draw a line here. And then I need to do the swing here. It's going to swing open, and that's a certain distance, so that is 31.84. So I go here from the inside, I can go over 31.84, enter, and so I just drew a line over top. You can see it highlighted right here, and then I'm going to make an arc between that. Make sure my ortho is on, and if it's on, it will just automatically go to that. And I used this arc right here. It says start, end, direction, and direction at start. This is the best one to make that 90-degree arc. Okay. And now, so we have our basic room. Now we're just going to start importing our chairs in here and then arraying them. So if I go to insert and then go to my file and go to my chair here, and then just OK. This should be to the right scale. Mine's a little bit rotated off for some reason. That's no big deal. I can type in rotate real quick, fix this to make it good. Perfect, now it's all ready. I'm going to move it back a little bit, and then I'm going to mirror it. I'm going to click a point, and I want it to mirror across this line. You're basically making a line that it wants to reflect over. So that's why I'm drawing it horizontally, not vertically. So mirroring it this way, and we want it to be 40 inches apart. So if I draw a line for reference, that's 40 inches. I can then just, it doesn't have to be like perfect, but I can just move this up to about the end of that line. And that's good. That's the distance between the chair and the table, so there should be a table in between here. So now if I highlight both of these and array them by typing an array, this can sometimes be an experimental process, but it says number in the X direction, and we want 3 chairs over, so we want 1 chair here, 1 chair, 1 here, 3 chairs over. So I'm going to type in 3. Number in Y direction, there's 3 groups, so I'm going to type in 3. And then Z direction, we don't want none, so it's just 1. And then spacing, we're going to click an origin and then decide our spacing from there. So I'm going to click here. And so now if I move my mouse around, it's going to make all these dimensions. But I can start entering dimensions. So for my X, if I start moving the X, I'm going to try 24. And then I'm going to do like 130. And so it got my chairs in this direction, or the Y direction, correct, but it didn't seem to get my X direction right. So if we try something larger, oh, actually it did work, sorry, my bad. I cannot do that. Or I can actually just change it back again, 24. Yeah, so that's actually correct. So we have these groups. There's little tables in between. So my spacing on that again was from the origin was 24. That's the spacing between chairs on this direction was 24 inches, and then in the Y direction I did 130. We want a little bit of room up here for some chairs we're gonna add. So this is actually pretty good. If I highlight all this and then type array again, we're going to do the same thing because we're going to make another group. This time the X direction is just going to be 2. Oh, sorry, I typed in 1. Let's cancel that. Array. X direction is 2. Y direction 1 because we don't want any more. Z direction 1 again. And then spacing, I'm just going to, because if I click on that origin, I can just kind of, I don't have to type an exact origin or number, but here, about here looks good to me. And then I can just hit enter. Cool. Honestly, you could do array again, but I think a faster thing is if I type in mirror, find the midpoint of the rectangle I drew. It should, if you have your midpoint on, which is checked over here, should be able to find it. And I can just draw a line up and mirror it over. And then what I want to do is move these a little bit closer together in the middle. There's not a huge space in between like that. It's a little bit closer. So I'm going to grab this, make sure my gumball is on. I'm going to move it over like 20 and move this over like -20. Cool. And then I'm going to make a chair, or now we're going to do these circular tables. So if I just make kind of a circular table here, and then if I copy a chair over, if I Control C, Control V, and then drag one up, rotate it by this blue, and let's get it somewhere close to this circle like this. Now I'm going to type array, and I want array curve, and it says select object, so that's going to be my chair. Select that, enter, and it says select path of curve, which is my chair here, and then it says number of items. I want 5 chairs around it, and then I just hit OK, and it's going to automatically put chairs around my table, and I can literally just copy and paste that over like this. Alright, cool, that's all laid out. Now we're going to go to my perspective and build these walls. I'm just going to simply highlight my walls like this, type extrude curve. It's going to make a box. I'm going to lift it up 180 inches. Awesome. And then the final part, we're going to make these openings for these doors, which is in my rectangle tool. We're going to go from the outside of this door. And what I like to do is I'm just going to put my mouse at the top. Don't click, but type the dimension, which is 84, and enter. And then you can click. And then you can just simply put your mouse on the other side. Now that's perfectly drawn to that surface. Now instead of having to do all that over again, what I'm going to do is copy all this. And then I'm going to type in mirror, find the midpoint again, draw a line, boom. Now I have it on both. Now the best way for me to make these holes based on how I model my walls is to type in make hole. Literally just make hole. Now it says select my curves. Okay, selected them. And then I'm going to enter, and then it says select surface, which is my wall. Selected it, and now it's asking for a distance to cut through. We don't want to cut this way. I can literally just put my mouse on the other side of this wall, and it's going to register that as the distance. And boom, already cut through. So that is how you model it. Yeah.